this is Audra, and you are back with...
What?
I was going to let you do it. The Eric and Audra podcast, The Olive Branch.
All right. Well, you're messing me up because I was going to read this.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is. Continue.
Welcome to The Olive Branch, the podcast where two siblings from a small southern town in the heart of the Bible Belt, the Rocket City, Huntsville, Alabama, try to bridge the gap between left and right America.
Or at least avoid strangling each other while trying. I'm Audra, your left-wing host, a wife, intentionally childless, liberal, atheist, socialist, communist, depending on who you ask, and an unemployed but caretaker for our mother.
And I'm Eric, your right-wing host, a husband, father, conservative, born-again Christian, and proud engine nerd with multiple engineering degrees. I've spent over 2 decades leading adult Sunday school, missional communities, life groups, small groups, connecting people to God, teaching from God's holy word.
I've spent over 2 decades as a dungeon master guiding heroes through mythical realms of Dungeons and Dragons, and I would like to say that I have a few community college credits under my belt.
That does count. All right, so between the preacher and the heathen,
the Bible and the battle map,
we've got absolutely no qualifications to be sharing political opinions with the masses.
But we're gonna do it anyways.
Let's do this already.
Okay, today...
What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about immigration and immigration-like substances.
Or more honed in, illegal immigration and its impact.
That's fair. It is illegal immigration that we're mainly focused on.
That's right. Immigration in and of itself, we are for and we endorse.
Mm-hmm.
Illegal immigration, let's look at it. What are the pros and cons or the problems at hand? Because the left and right are definitely not together on that.
No.
But before we get there, go ahead and maximize that so I see all of us. Okay, sorry. Do you know that our fan base is increasing? We're getting fans.
A fan.
We have a fan. Okay, so maybe it's singular instead of plural. But, and it is a family member. So our niece Rachel said she's following our new podcast.
She has a TikTok. It is RayRayKelly7, and she does corporate girly, get ready with me type stuff. It's really cute.
Hey Rachel, thanks for watching. Do you know that she told my daughter that she actually watches this like on YouTube on her TV, like it's not just listening in her car while she's doing other things or cleaning the house. She sits down and watches it like a show. So it's crazy. All right.
A little bit of housekeeping we talked about doing is I feel like last episode I was saying a lot of different points without us finishing the point that we were on before. So it just crossed my mind after I watched it and kind of thought about it. And the new rule is you have to clean your plate before you go back to the buffet.
True.
We got to hit each point and deal with that point before throwing 17 other points on the field.
So Audra actually contacted me after the show. She apologized. She voiced pretty much that. I didn't really know what she meant until I watched the show back. And I was like, wow, yeah, she was shooting me like a machine gun with a myriad of various topics and questions. Now, legit questions, real concerns or issues she has, but it was so distracting to me in the moment. I felt overwhelmed and I couldn't even remember what I was originally talking about.
Yeah.
And what's the whole point of this podcast is to show people with very drastic, different viewpoints, worldviews.
Mm-hmm.
How can we talk? How can we communicate and still stay on the same page? And the bottom line is, we talked about it, and she's not the only one guilty of it. I kind of do the same thing. So we agreed what we should do is listen to the person trying to respond and try to actually listen and be patient. If you have other issues come to mind, you can make note of them. We can address them later. But don't lose focus of listening and trying to understand them. I've heard Jordan Peterson, a lot of people follow him. He mentioned the best way to come together is for you to listen to their point of view, their argument, and be able to articulate it back better than them. If you do that, they will feel heard because they were heard. It required you listening to them to get there. So that's what we want to practice on this show, and so we can learn from that. So, all right, I think it's a good path forward.
The last thing I want to hit before we get into today's topic is our next episode that we're looking into doing is going to be MAHA, Make America Healthy Again.
Okay.
And we're going to go into just things that the administration's trying to put forward with health and just different things about health in general. And the request I have from our big fan base now of both people is I want you to do me a favor and comment. I personally would like to know where people are from just to kind of know how far the podcast is reaching. But if you have any thoughts about the MAHA, not MAGA, MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again, let me know what you're interested in, if you've heard of any regulations that are weird, or if you have any health tips or tricks that you think of our regulations versus other countries. Just curious what other people are already thinking of and what they're concerned on.
Yeah. So RFK Jr. Is leading the way. He's our Secretary of Health and Human Services. So he's doing an overhaul. He's looking at vaccines. That's going to be a topic. He's looking at food dyes. There's so many ingredients in our food supply in America that are actually illegal in Europe. And why is that? And then so a lot of our food lobbyists come to play. So let's talk about it and let's see how should we
drop us a line as to what you're interested in us covering, and that way we'll have points to hit and points to research before our next episode.
Yeah. So look forward to it. All right, we do have a few homework items from the last topic. We covered a real easy topic, abortion.
Just the right to choose.
So that was really a rough segment. Looking back, got a little bit of trauma from that, but it's okay. It's okay to talk about hard things. That's what we're trying to get at here. Is how can you go to Thanksgiving dinner and talk with family that you love about these hard political issues? And I'll say this, a little bit of my conviction to do this is I feel like, we have cancel culture on the list to talk about. We'll do a deep dive on that. But over the last decade or so, with the woke movement, with different things, the church has been a little bit standoffish in general. The church has been somewhat, let's stay out of politics. That's too controversial. It's too dividing. Let's be more uniting. Let's be more good, happy, friendly. And that sounds good on the surface. But I believe politics, it's not that the church needs to get more political. I think the reality of the situation is politics have become more spiritual. And as that expands, as politics expands into the spiritual realm, church has the obligation, responsibility to address things clearly and plainly as we understand from the Bible. So I'm encouraged for us to have these conversations in a way of speaking truth in love, not speaking truth because you love to be right, but speaking truth in love, which requires patience, kindness. So let's do that. That's what we're trying to practice here. So let's see if we can do it. All right, homework assignments. What do we got?
I had said something that Eric either took the wrong way or maybe everyone took it the wrong way and I misspoke completely. But when we were going back and forth about stuff, there was a point where Eric understood me to say that there are no just unwanted pregnancies aborted. Full stop. And what I was speaking to specifically was late-term abortions. And we did the research on that. It's 93% of all abortions happen in the first 12 weeks. The next 6% happen between 12 and 15 weeks. And then after that, it's about 1% for the rest of it.
Yeah. I think off the top of my head, I think we wrote it down. We've got a whole database where we're keeping notes and stuff. I think it was 13 to 20 or 21 weeks, or 13 to 20 weeks was the 6%.
That might be, yeah.
And then 1% of abortions are 21 weeks or after. So that's 5 months or so, as you can imagine what a 5-month-old baby is. So but we talked about that before the show, and the deal is when you're talking about this, I mean, like the last show, we both got somewhat emotional in different parts of the show talking about this. And when you're talking about something emotional, you get a little flustered, you get a little shaky, you get a little, and you're trying to articulate something. Well, one of us misspoke, we misheard, and the deal is, what I learned through this is, as we're talking about something controversial, if somebody says something off kilter that throws you off, because I remember that. I remember the moment going, she didn't just say, I mean, I'm saying 99.5% of all abortions are simply in the category of unwanted. She said none are. Or that's what I heard or thought anyway. And I feel the tension. I feel the tendency. I want to say this person is incompetent. This person is evil. This person, I want to, find a garbage can and go throw them in it. But not my sweet sister. But maybe sometimes. But you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, if someone says something crazy,
that's
your job to ask follow-up questions.
Yeah, just calm down and go.
You're like, hey buddy, when you said that, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. I think you just said this. Is this what you are meaning to say? Oh, no, let me clarify. I actually was thinking the other thing we just talked about with late term. Oh, okay, got you. Get clarification. Calm down. Give the benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. Grace.
Mm-hmm.
I like to compare and contrast grace and mercy. Mercy is when you do not receive due punishment. Grace is when you do receive undue reward. And let's be gracious. Let's just be gracious, especially to our inner circle, to your family, the people that you're going to eat Thanksgiving dinner with. Let's do it right this time. Be the change you want to see. Don't wait on others to do it. You do it. Lead the way. Lead by example. All right, let's do this. What else we got?
The next thing was
Nazis.
I had mentioned Nazis existing, and you were like, where are they? Are they in the room with us now, Audra? And long and short, they're out there, but it's a small group in the United States.
Yeah, so technically that was a homework assignment, but I guess my point was not, I didn't think that there was one single one on the planet. I was just saying, are they of any significance to where they're a threat to even worry about their existence? However, we did look up. There are pockets where they actually do. They have done some like terrorist events, and people have been killed, invading churches, killing multiple people, all over the last decade. So a few sprinkled out there. So definitely a presence that is concerning, but not a huge presence. Like, I've never met a Nazi. That I know of. True. I guess they don't all wear...
I joked, we're not Nazis, so we're not their type, because no reason to hang out with us.
The cool thing is we do these homework assignments, we're learning something. We're coming together. We're learning how to communicate. We're learning... Hey, I was basing my conclusion off of either assumption or a fact that was not up to date, and we're learning, so it's good. The last one was very interesting. So this is where I said my atheist sister would be leading a Bible study.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a quick take on it, or you want me to just summarize it?
My long and short of it is, I had said that in the Bible there is a passage where God basically promotes abortion, and that is hyperbole to summarized out of context. The passage says a priest gives a woman a tonic, and if she's unfaithful, then she will not be able. She'll miscarry. Is an interpretation.
Is one translation.
Biblical scholars haven't concluded that necessarily she was pregnant and that God was saying abort that fetus now, but that she would become infertile after. So some people have interpreted it as that it's an abortion in that passage, but that's not the common, widespread opinion of that passage.
Yeah. So very interesting take. It's hard to, as telling Audra, it's hard to look at something. This is in. Did you say it's Numbers chapter 5, right?
Sure.
I think it's starts in verse 11 and goes several verses after that. But it's kind of hard to take something that was written, thousands of years ago about a culture thousands of years ago, and then this ritual that we find just very unfamiliar and strange. But then and the text is written in Hebrew. And then it's translated to English, and then even in our modern technology, translation just changes over time.
They're making the long and short longer. They get it.
I'll do one point, the one I showed you. But I said one thing that's interesting with translation. If we wrote down here, I just fed her a hot dog for lunch, and 1,000 years from now, the Chinese come and they look at her notebook and says, she ate a warm pet. That's really technically a good translation, but it totally misses the mark on the original intent.
Yeah.
And when we're reading something where scholars are struggling on how to translate and interpret those words, because it says I think they were fighting over, does it say her thigh will waste away, her abdomen will swell?
Yeah.
And it's like you're a little shaky there on what's originally being written. So try not to latch on stuff like that, like it's solid if it's not. So anyway, let's move forward. I think we're ready for today's topic.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to stay a little more focused, a little more structured this round.
Fighting that ADHD.
We've got a few key points to sprinkle in, but we really want to address some main questions. And we'll just go straight down the list. But let me start off with just a basic stat that I think is interesting. How many illegal immigrants do we have in the United States? Do you know? I told you earlier. You already forgot?
14.
We have 14, and that's it. I think they're all in Alabama.
3 of them are named Jake.
Okay. 14 million is what we're dealing with. 14 million. So it's a good chunk. But if you really think about it compared to, what's the population of America? Is about 380 million?
I don't know, but I did see that the documented immigrants make up I've already forgot the numbers. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. So we're looking at a very small percentage of the population, but we see them. But anyway, so here's the questions that I thought. Let me just do tell you what the questions are. Why do we have immigration law? What's the whole point? Should we deport illegal aliens? If not, what should the punishment be for breaking the law of immigration? We're going to address ICE. What's everyone's beef with ICE? There's a lot of pushback on that process. A lot of people protesting and resisting that violently, I'll say. What's going on there? And then I'd like us to just hit sanctuary cities. Should that be endorsed? Should it be condoned? Should it be ruled out? Are they value added? Are they helpful or are they hurtful? And then the one I wanted to hit is, should immigrants assimilate? Should they learn the language? Should they adopt our culture? Should they pledge allegiance to the American flag? So let's talk about that. So why do we have immigration law? What's the point? What do you think the answer is to that from the left side?
My default is basically just for organization and official businesses to conduct, letting people come over, and if they're staying for vacation, if it's for employment, if it's for long-term living, it should just be a way to document people. Yeah.
I'm getting a flashback. Didn't a couple of decades ago you run away and go to Canada?
I got kicked out of Canada.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of trauma, I don't want to talk about it.
I did not prep you on that question.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine. Thank you.
I do recall you were very upset about it.
I was.
Well, this is, if you are willing to speak about it, this gives first-hand experience of the myriad of emotions that you would undertake if somebody was trying to deport you, because you did get deported.
I didn't get deported. I left in the time frame they told me I had to.
Okay. All right. So
I could have been a squatter, I guess.
yeah.
And the thing that made me mad, because I'm very lawful in general.
Mhm.
If anyone plays 3rd edition D&D, I'm lawful good.
Yeah.
But the issue that I had was they gave me a whole list. I talked on the phone multiple times. I asked, and they basically said you can stay for up to, I want to say it was like 30, 60, or 90 days to vacation without doing any paperwork, just for vacation purposes.
Mhm.
And in that time, if on the last day you want to file a paperwork for a work visa, you can do that and you get to stay during that time period. So getting off the airplane after having all my stuff mailed to the place I'd already paid a month's rent on, they said, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "Well, I'm just here, temporarily filling it out, but I may, move here." And I was like, "Are you a nurse? Are you an engineer?" "Well, we don't want 20-nothing soaking up our retail jobs, so I'm not going to let you stay."
Wow.
I've already talked to people. They said I don't have to file anything. I have up to 90 days to vacation before having to file for anything.
Yeah.
And he said, "That's up to our discretion."
Oh wow.
And I was like, "I literally have stuff getting mailed to a place I'm renting."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, all right, you have to leave in 30 days. And then he put on my thing, on my passport, has to leave in 30 days. If I leave before that, it does not permit re-entry." And I was just like, "You dirty mother so-and-so." I was so mad.
Poor thing. Bless it.
Thanks for bringing it up, Eric.
Well, you
Do
are.
we want to cry on 50% of all of our podcasts? Is that where we're going?
You are loved, needed, and wanted in America. So
Thanks.
stay here. We're here in Alabama.
I just hope if I have to move to Canada, because things go sideways here, they don't look at that "does not permit re-entry" on my passport and be like, "Sorry, dude, you already blew it once."
All right. Thanks for sharing that story. I can see it struck an emotional chord, but that happens.
Just a few grand.
We're just gonna keep
for
it
a
real.
month vacation.
We're keeping it real here. But yeah, to document who's in our country, who's going to be a citizen, do we have their, social security number? Are they paying taxes?
Yeah.
Federal taxes. We have all kinds of taxes here: federal, state,
All
sales,
taxes.
property. Let's see if we can get each citizen 5 different ways and get that money raked in. I will say a quick side note. I had notes on this, but I had concerns about illegal aliens kind of milking the system. I'm not going to look it up here, but there's a whole thing. A lot of those are myths.
Mm-hmm.
What I found out from my research
Yeah.
was, like food stamps,
They can't get them.
not eligible. Gas vouchers, not eligible. Cell phones, I heard about. It's not can't do it.
You have to have a social security number to get federal benefits.
Yeah. Even medical care is not. It's not guaranteed. Now there's some hospitals that get funds from the state or private hospitals.
They take anybody that come in.
They do. And they may give them a bill that they ignore, but that's just. But they still got to provide service. So anyway, that was interesting because I thought it was different. Now there's different states that probably
May have stuff.
Yeah, I think California does a lot of stuff, but it's a kind of a separate topic. So let's kind of rope back in. To me, why do they have immigration law? Just everything we just said. So structure, citizenship, taxes, and it vets them. It vets them to make sure that we know who's coming into our country. Are they, do they?
Who are we dealing with?
Are they a convicted felon? Do they have a rap sheet of crime? Are they smuggling drugs? There's all kinds of stuff in that regard, whether it's drug trafficking, human trafficking, a myriad of different crimes that they could do. So knowing who's coming across is very important. All right, so now to the big question. If you are an illegal alien and you're not a citizen here, and you don't have a green card. You're not here legally. What should you be deported? What do you say?
I say probably usually, but I also
Okay.
think being an undocumented immigrant, you should just get documented.
Okay, well, what does that mean? Just documented. What does that mean?
If you're here, are you working here? Are you living here? Are you vacationing? Are you here temporarily? Give you the appropriate application for that visa, and
Mm-hmm.
if for some reason your background check doesn't qualify you to maintain that status,
Yeah.
but it's documented. I say there's no such thing as too much information. Let's write it all down.
Yeah. And then if you do that, so you're documented here, how does that mess with the tax system? Like, would you pay federal taxes, state taxes?
If you're being employed,
Yeah.
then you would have to pay taxes on your income just like everybody else.
Yeah.
So just because you can't get the benefits doesn't mean you wouldn't pay taxes.
Yeah. All right. Are there exceptions to the rule of being deported? Because right now, I believe what Trump has advertised and what he's pushing for with Homeland Security and all the things is getting rid of the worst of the worst, the most dangerous illegal aliens. So they're not targeting all illegal aliens. They're targeting the criminals that are a threat, are a danger. You know, they have a history of rape or murder or violence.
One of the negatives that I found in my research, which we can get to it when we officially get there, but they are doing collateral deportations. So
Yeah, I've seen that. Like, hey, I'm here for.
and it'll be the majority of the people.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say the Chicago raid that happened where 140-ish people got evacuated from their house in the middle of the night when the military busted into their apartment complex.
Yeah.
There were 2 people that were officially tied to that were a gang that I can't remember the name. It's like Trejes Agora.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just making up sounds, but I read it. I never said it out loud.
Yeah.
But there were 2 people out of the 47 that got arrested in that building that had over 140 people. So that's 100 U.S. citizens who are just minding their own business, having smoke bombs and tear gas go off in the middle of the night and have to get evacuated
Yeah.
for 2 gang members. And then the other 45 people, or 35, it may have been 37,
Yeah.
but they were all just undocumented.
Yeah. This makes me want to bring up, it's something I started this podcast out with, talking about how you think determines how you feel, and how you feel determines how you act. And to me, what I've seen, the right usually tries to answer the questions on the table, or the question on the table,
Mm-hmm.
and the left kind of sees all the tentacles and tethers to a spread of other things, and really starts to get an emotion with all of that. And that's what, the tendency is, to throw up all these different issues. So the question on the table is, so if you don't deport, what could or should the punishment be? And I think the left, they don't want to answer that question, because the reason is because if they say, okay, yeah, that is a valid response, that immediately means, Jorge or whoever my friend is that I know, that I love and trust, I'm implying that they should be deported, and I just feel disloyal as a friend. And I don't know, it's just separate.
So you admit the right have no friends that are...
Yeah, I have no friends. I mean, that's why I do this podcast with you, my sister,
Yeah.
because nobody else will spend time with me.
No, and I did look up being undocumented in the United States is a civil offense,
Mm-hmm.
and the only punishment is supposed to be deportation. So unless you've committed other crimes also, it's just deportation.
Yeah.
But I would even say that's excessive.
Yeah. So so go there. What could an alternative method be if it's not deportation?
I think it just should be documentation, and we just need to have an easier way for everyone to tick that box of, hey, I'm in the United States, I'm from Mexico, or I'm from Canada,
Yeah.
or I'm from Belgium. and I'm here doing my own thing, kind of in between a vacation and living here.
Yeah.
But it's not an issue unless if I'm independently wealthy, who cares?
Yeah. So if you look up stats, so one, I think I agree with you, but I think there's an assumption that the documentation process would be quick and easy. But it really needs to be, I guess, through the immigration protocol is to not only document, but to vet and qualify.
And that's what when you're getting visas and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what the application process is, which is why it takes like 2
So,
years.
so essentially, you're saying maybe make the immigration process into multiple phased approach, like phase or a 3-prong approach. And the first prong is just name, identification, points of contact.
Yeah.
You're a human being, and we know where you are.
Yeah.
Phase 2 could be some sort of vetting qualification.
Yeah. If you're staying here past just vacation.
And then more research, and then the third prong would be, hey, actual citizenship in getting that solidified. I think that's brilliant. It may take manpower.
I think we just got to get a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of the out of immigration.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was just thinking, as I'm doing research on this, if I was dictator of the free world, what would I do? One, at my work, we do Lean Six Sigma projects. Essentially, look at a process, and you see the sequence of events, and then you look at each event and you say, is this value added? Or, why do you have this?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes if you actually look at the entire process, there's like 3 steps in here that's like, this is archaic. This is silly. One example I've heard before is, looking at contract proposals. And, in the back room there's like a stack of like 20, thick, 5-inch thick, 3-ring binders of all these proposals.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, somebody asks, hey, I'm new here. Where are all these notebooks here? What are these for? Oh, this is the contract proposals. Like, yeah, but none of us look at those. We all look them digitally on our computer in PDF files. Oh, yeah, but we always get those.
Just in case.
No, we've always got them.
Yeah.
Like, so when you updated this and as technology has improved, you didn't cut that out. Well, some colonel about 12 years ago requested that, and nobody has even thought to cut it out.
Yeah.
So they're like physically loading. One, the contractor's printing these out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're having to ship them and mail them, and then the recipients having to store them and then manually move them. It's just stupid. Stuff like that happens all the time. So we just need to look. Hey, this may have been a great process 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but what about today? So if we looked at this immigration process and said, hey, let's do a Lean Six Sigma, cut out the waste, cut out the inefficient, ineffective steps that are no longer value added, and then look at stuff that are value added, but do we need that value?
Yeah.
What do you want? Do you want a Ruth Chris Steakhouse with the ticket price, or is Outback Steakhouse good enough? Hey, let's go to Sizzler. Figure out what's the best sweet spot. And then I was thinking, but you're still if you're looking at 14 million people that have come in that are in the queue already. I'm trying to think, if you didn't deport them, if that was in the queue and you had to process all these applications, what could you do? Well, the first thing I thought of is, you got the IRS. You got the Internal Revenue Service.
They would love to have more.
What do they do? They pretty much have oversight over all Americans to pay their taxes.
And non-Americans that are working here.
So, to me, if I was dictator of the free world, this is what I would do. I would reassign the IRS. I'd pretty much shut it down, and I would change it to, the immigration service, whatever the new name is. And
tax IDs are us.
Well. So for taxes, just go straight to the flat tax.
That's a different podcast.
Go straight to the flat tax or the fair tax. Something that's very simple, very easy, that doesn't require, thousands of oversight reviewers to audit. and then have them process all these applications in this new, efficient, streamlined immigration process. So next time we're voting for dictators, vote for me. I'll hook you up. Any thoughts on all that? Is that crazy?
No, I was gonna say, that he has a very reasonable bug in his ear, so you can vote for Eric, and I'll make sure things aren't crazy.
I have joked for years that I love how articulate and smart my sister is, and if I was ever a dictator of the free world, she would be my press secretary. So, what's next? Okay, let's talk about ICE. What the heck? So, ICE is using some rough tactics. They're going in just like equivalent, but it's not even equivalent. They're going after the hard criminals, people with a rap sheet, they're contacting police stations and saying what illegal aliens have been arrested that you've released, that you have record of, because they'll have like recorded contact information and stuff like that. So they go and they hunt them down for the police stations that are willing to participate in this matter. But they'll go and like, hey, they got a history of rape or murder or violence or something, and they'll hunt them down and use the rough tactics you would think to find any criminal like that, whether they're a legal alien or not. But people are not for it. They're very much against. They're protesting. They're throwing rocks. They're cussing. They're saying, "Get out of here." Is that the appropriate response? What's going on?
What do you think would have to happen for you to be protesting and throwing rocks? Like, what do you think they think is happening?
I would say if they were going in to these hardened criminal illegal aliens and shooting them, and then I guess I would protest then.
What if they're not going up to just hardened criminals? What if they're going up to courthouses for people who have immigration court dates and taking those people before they can go into their hearing?
Yeah, so there's one, to me, I don't care, is the shortest answer. That doesn't bother me at all. Because my answer to should they be deported for entering the country illegally, my answer is yes. I'm cool with that. To me, I'm very cool with consequences to law, and that just seems very reasonable. I've shared a technique to not do that and then vet them. If I was dictator, that's what I would do.
But people who are going to the courthouse to be law-abiding, participate in our system.
They have they broke the law. That's the consequence. I mean, I hate it. I mean, you could talk about what if somebody stole bread from Walmart because he had to feed his family? That sounds horrible. And you want to be soft on somebody who's just trying to provide for his family in need. That doesn't change the consequence of the crime. The consequence, that's against the law, and it's blind to the person's situation. It is what it is. Whether you're a rich kid from a very wealthy family who just wanted to kick to see what it'd feel like to steal something, versus my kid's on the struggle bus, my family's starving, I need to get some bread. The law is blind to that. So I can see it like that. I can compartmentalize. I don't think it's the best path forward, but I have no issue with it at all. On the same note, what I'm trying to say is Trump has said how he will prioritize. He didn't say he's changing the law. He didn't say he's changing the consequence of the law. The law is you've done this crime, you will be deported. However, for bandwidth, for priority, I'm going to focus on the hardened criminals. Mm-hmm. And that's what he's doing. But there is collateral. I've seen them. Hey, we're here you're in the wrong place at the right time, and then you got collected.
What do you think about the federal government sending troops into states to help the police immigration?
Immigration?
Mm-hmm.
Or crime? Because that seems like a whole other topic.
Well, they're policing immigration by people who are here, whether it's undocumented or past documentation, or if they have any violations with their visas and their fees
Yeah.
and all that stuff. But the federal government's not supposed to be deployed on American states.
Oh, so I personally have no issue with it. To me, it's just resource management. I'm not studied or well versed in can you deploy. You're saying essentially within the Department of War now. You're talking about Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines.
National Guard has been deployed
Yeah.
along with ICE
Yeah,
inside jurisdictions that should be
yeah.
the normal police force.
I mean, to me, the POTUS, the President of the United States, is the Commander in Chief, and he can use those resources as he deems fit to take care of his country. I don't have personal issue with it. I don't know if it violates any
It does.
constitution or something.
That's one of the things that people call him a fascist dictator over, is deploying the military against U.S. citizens.
Against U.S.
Because
citizens.
the 100 people that got smoke bombed in the middle of the night
Yeah.
and taken out of their house.
Well,
Little
hang-
kids were zip tied.
Okay, well, so again, it's not against U.S. citizens. That's not the objective. The objective isn't to attack U.S. citizens, and that's kind of how it's worded. It's there to reinforce
They're not
the
good at their
police
job
force.
if they get 100 non-people that aren't even illegal immigrants. You know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're normal course of action. I
Yeah.
think there's a gang, but a person over here.
Yeah.
I think there's a few people in a gang that live in this apartment complex. Okay, can we storm the entire apartment complex? No. Most judges would not sign off on that, according to all the Law and Order I've watched over my life. Because you can't violate the rights of all the people that are not criminals there.
Mm-hmm.
The worst victim, according to our founding fathers, in the United States is a victim of its own government.
Oh yeah. So I mean, that's the right to bear arms. That's why we should be able to.
Shoot police when they come into our house because we're not a criminal yet. Like, it's not the right to bear arms, it's the right to hold them accountable and make sure that they aren't violating our rights.
How about this homework assignment? Let's see if we can understand the law. I do understand that that's something that's being challenged.
Mhm.
Is using the Department of War to reinforce existing municipalities and police and other.
I had looked it up. I have the.
But that's more than a homework assignment. That's probably a whole podcast, because he's using his resources to reinforce the fight against crime in different cities. So maybe that's a.
But there have been citizens and non-violent, non-criminal
Okay.
immigration people that have gotten taken down.
Well, I'm just saying, in lieu of just a quick bullet of a
Mhm.
homework assignment that's probably hard to summarize, we could make it an entire episode, is what I'm getting at.
Oh, that's fair.
But whatever.
I was just looking for it. I thought I had it right here.
What else with this ICE? Is it just what could be done to? Because to me, it looks like they're just doing their job. They're just doing what the law says. They're reinforcing what the law says.
They're doing unreasonable search and seizure on citizens and non-citizens alike in the name of getting the big criminal.
Uh-huh.
And then they ruined 140 people's nights, arrested 37 people, and 2 of them were in the gang. So I can just throw a dart anywhere on a map and say somebody thinks they're in a gang here, and I'm right.
Yeah.
I promise you I'm right. Anywhere on the map, there's some little redneck in the back of Tony, Alabama, who's in the Pitchfork gang.
Yeah. I don't.
So I can't bomb or harass or kidnap or interrogate everybody in 10 neighborhoods because I think there might be that one gang member there.
Yeah.
You have to do force that makes sense. It's just like we said about Trump's financial stuff. They did a multi-million-dollar investigation and found a $13,000 discrepancy.
Yeah.
The force they're using is not equivalent to what they're getting out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the cost of people having PTSD from having a military raid and smoke bombs go in their house when they were just sleeping.
Yeah. So What's the alternative? How do you be efficient, effective, deporting the worst of illegal aliens?
I think you just keep fighting crime as crime and not keep the immigration factor as an issue, because it's not. Statistically, you're less likely to commit crime if you're an immigrant versus if you're a natural born citizen. So statistically,
because you want to stay under the radar or not bring.
Just because you're coming here, not because I'm going to move to another country to really stir things up.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, that makes sense.
People who do crime are either doing crime out of necessity or opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not moving to other countries to do crime. So,
small tangent, if I can.
Go on.
Trump said on TV the other day, he said in an interview that he was concerned about some countries emptying their prisons and pushing them into America just to get rid of them. I think he accused Venezuela of doing that. I did some research to see if there's, validity to that, accusation. There's nothing official that's out there in the internets. But at the same time, I also know the president gets intel far and above and beyond what anybody on my level does.
And he's compulsively honest. If he's thinking it, he's saying it. So,
yeah,
he probably shouldn't have clearance.
There's probably a lot of people with a top secret clearance who shared that with him. Is like, you can't say that because I can't tell you how I got that information. You're putting my job at jeopardy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a pardon because I wasn't even supposed to tell you. All right. So
now that's interesting. I hadn't heard the thing about other countries emptying prisons, but that's interesting that you looked into it and kind of found.
Yeah. One more thing. Sanctuary cities.
I don't know a lot about them, so you tell me
Okay.
what you know, and I'll tell you if I knew anything else or.
Not much. So I know Gavin Newsom, is the governor of California.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's different mayors in California for their towns. It's pretty much a sanctuary state, but essentially, Gavin Newsom has said he will not work with Trump on anything with this immigration. And, as ICE tries to coordinate with them on fines and, hey, where can we find it? They're not going to show them anything. To me, that's, I don't know, it's just horrible. It's just horrible. To me, all Trump is trying to do is execute the law of the land with due punishment. I don't know.
I'm actually very anti-states' rights.
Really?
I am very much, if we're one country, let's be one country. If we're not, let's split it up. Because I don't like, sometimes it applies to me, but then it applies to you. And if you go state by state, you have all these different technicalities.
Yeah.
When, especially in modern day, everyone moves so much. People live in one place and they'll work in a completely other state remotely.
Yeah.
People move multiple times throughout their lives. It's just too much of a headache. I'd rather it be really separate or really together.
I kind of agree with that. It's almost like they're trying to make it complicated. Here's 50 different versions of what you can do or don't do.
That's not even counting our territories.
Yeah, so I don't know, that is kind of weird. And it seems like in this day and age, there's so much. I mean, you have instant access to pretty much any information you need. So if you needed to know the pros and cons of, I don't know, like the tax system, because like some people, they don't do sales tax. Mm-hmm. I think there's some states that don't even do state tax. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they just do sales tax or property tax to compensate for that. But, there's just a mixed version of it. And the way you're set up, if you move to another state, that might be a big hit.
And that's why some people who have the money and the resources, they have a lawyer look into all that. And my residence is in Connecticut, whereas my business that I actually live out of is in Florida. And then
Yeah. All right. Well, I already said one last question, and then now I
You
got.
can ask me anything.
Here's a bonus question. Should immigrants assimilate?
I think as much as anyone needs to. If I moved to China and I was working there,
Yeah.
but I worked remote for the most part, and I only had to go into some in-person meetings where everyone spoke English, I don't know that I would need to learn Chinese.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I think I would need to learn Chinese as much as to talk to the person I pay my rent to. But even then, everyone has Google Translate on their phone. So I can just be like, did you get my check?
Like they're deaf. Yeah.
Of course.
And
then I
slow.
do Google Translate, and they're like, that's Mandarin, it's not Cantonese, Audra. We're not all the same dialect here.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. In general, though, I guess the rub of what I'm really getting at is, I see some immigrants, like say, from Mexico, like instead of waving the American flag, they're burning it.
I've never seen that.
You need to watch more Fox News.
Okay.
Or actually, maybe you don't because of that, because it's just going to give you trauma, like you said.
I was going to say, I don't know anyone that picks a country to move to.
Yeah.
Because they hate it.
Well, that's what's so crazy is
So I would wonder
they're
who
waving the
made the video.
Mexican flag and then burning the American one, and it doesn't make sense.
And
Now,
they may be protesting something specific, like taking a knee at the anthem or what have you.
let me tell you a conviction I have and this conviction may lead me to cancel this podcast. I was talking to a neighbor just the other day about, in this day and age, your phone that you have, you have access to all the tragedies in the world on your fingertips. You can get notified, and like we said with mainstream media, if it bleeds, it leads. You're constantly being told how many children died at the beach or got some sort of flesh-eating bacteria or were eaten by a shark, or how many tsunamis, just took out, whatever cities and all the homeless that were. It's too much.
Your brain's not meant to handle it.
Right. And she said it that way. I'll say God did not design us to handle all the tragedies of the day instantaneously. I think he really meant for us to, Scripture says in the Bible that there's enough trouble for each day. And really, in context of the audience, it's of what you can see. It's the people in your inner circle. Mm-hmm. Not even really in your second or third circle. Just people you can reach out and touch. That's enough. So we're addressing all these problems and stuff, but you know what? I haven't really had to worry about anything about abortion in a long time. I haven't had anything to worry about illegal immigration in a long time. We talk about these complex issues, and it burns us down. It stresses us out, and then it puts conflict. It puts tension between you and your loved one. What are we doing?
Making wrong choices.
Lord, help us not to be so stupid. That's our closing prayer.
I didn't sign on to closing prayer.
Just say amen and go with it.
Oh, man.
All right, good talk. The U.S. was founded by settlers and not by immigrants. It was followed by immigrants. So chew on that as we close.
They were immigrants because it was already settled by the people who were here beforehand.
Well, you're talking about the Indians?
The Native Americans, because
Ooh.
It wasn't India. Come to find out.
Don't give me that politically correct terminology.
I don't want to bring up old stuff, but they did not find India.
But what I mean by that is infrastructure, roads, housing, neighborhoods, light poles. I don't know if that's what they were looking for, but indoor plumbing, all the infrastructure, sewage. Anyway, that's
Native
another
Americans
topic.
had that.
They had indoor plumbing.
I don't know if they had indoor plumbing, but they had irrigation, and they had buildings, and they had.
Oh, they definitely had irrigation. They had skills on getting that water transferred for the maize, for the corn, for
But they had like multi cities with like different buildings and stuff, and we just wiped it from history. But it's out there.
sounds like another topic to discuss.
I really liked it. I used to, full disclosure, I used to be in Indian education. I have recently found out I have 0 Native American heritage in my history, thanks to the genetic tests that are out there. But
I thought we had Blackfoot in us.
oh, Mom knew a grandmother who was Blackfoot and 100%. And I think she called her Mama Bell or Maybell or something. And my mom knows her, and she was not, apparently. Which they do say Native American heritage, any heritage, can fall out after like 4 generations. So if it was our mom's grandmother, that's like right at the line where I may not have it. But I could keep all of it. Like I could, recessive genes and random selection. But I used to identify as a squaw because I was so proud of my Native American heritage that I don't have.
That's all the time we have for now.
Yeah, it made me sad.
Okay. Over and out. Until next time.
See you next video for the Maha movement.
Woohoo!